Okay, we made it. We're live. It's been a crazy windy morning outside, and we're getting the chickens in because they are not happy out there. So here we're gonna do our DIY project for today. We're gonna be making these. This is too hard to see. This Art Caddy. There you go. So it's pretty good size. You could, if you haven't made one of these yet, you could adjust the dimensions from the plans and maybe make it a little smaller. But this way you can have lots of space to put your supplies and maybe use mason jars, or if you wanted, you could also make wood dividers. We're going to be doing another project later. It's the craft caddy, so that one is going to actually have some wood dividers in it. But for today, we're just going to build this art caddy. I'm going to see if anyone else is joining. If you're here and you're building along, you can start sanding, getting your sandpaper. I've got a sanding sponge, and you can just start sanding off the edges of the wood. There's like some little burrs. This one's not too bad. But I can start doing that. Let's see who I have. If you have any comments or questions, post them in the comment box and I'll keep monitoring that. And let me know. I'm doing this Facebook Live format, but I'm also thinking about doing Zoom style so we can see each other's faces. So yeah, let me know if you think that would be more fun. All right, I got like 6 people. I can't see who you are though. Huh. It's not letting me see who you are. Maybe comment your name, who's here, and if you're building along with us. Oh, I see my mom's here. Hello. Okay. Is anybody else building with us right now? Otherwise, if you're not, you can watch the video later. Oh, down to 2. I can't see though. I can't see who's watching. Okay. All right, I'm going to set the phone down somewhere and see if we can do this. I'm hanging out in the RV because, again, it was super windy this morning and raining. So I'm going to try doing this in here. Okay. All right. I think that'll kind of work. Hopefully the phone won't fall down. All right, so turn this light off. Okay, so I already have my pieces pre-cut, and I had the plans on my website. They have these mitered corners on here. If you didn't make them, that's okay. They can just be squared off too. Either way, it just adds a little extra detail. I already have my holes pre-drilled, but we'll go into that as we're building. So yeah, just if you're building along with us, you can start just sanding the edges like where you cut the wood. And if you are building, let me know if I'm going too fast. Otherwise, I'm just going to go for it. Make sure too, if you're going to sand the flat part, go look at where the grain is and make sure that you're sanding with the grain and not against the grain. Oh, you probably couldn't see that. So, with the grain, not against the grain. Can you hear me? there's that one. No need to get too crazy and overkill with sanding. Just get off any like wood that's kind of pokey, and it's a lot easier to do it when they're all in individual pieces than when it gets put together. So you can use sandpaper and a sanding block too, or just sandpaper, or if you have a power sander, you can use that. So normally, I'm doing these projects with Tumalum across Oregon and Washington, and they're different, all the different stores. But since we're postponing the classes at least through June, I am doing a different project every Saturday. So last week we did a picket frame, and today we're doing this Art Caddy. Next week, I'll just show you what we're doing next week. We're going to do this chalkboard hanger. So I still got to put, this is one of the projects we did a few years ago in our first year of classes that I don't think I actually have any plans made up yet. So I'll have to get the details out to you guys on that before next week. Well, that's kind of a fun project. I already did that one. I'm extra sanding. Alright. I'm just looking at my comments. Okay. Alright. So, now I'm going to set aside my longer pieces of wood, these longer ones, and I'm just going to take my end pieces. If you are building along with me, some of this wood I've had, so I already pre-prepped all of my nail holes, so you don't have to pre-drill holes, but you can, and you're just going to use probably, depending on what size your nails are, just do something like a small 1/16 inch drill bit. It's always good to have extras floating around too, just in case it breaks. These tiny ones break really easily. So you're just going to take it, put it in your drill, and then whatever, if you have a surface, like I just have a piece of wood here that I don't care if I drill into. If you have a scrap piece of wood you can put underneath where you're drilling, or you can drill like off the edge of a table or something like that, so you're not drilling into your surface. And then you're just gonna take, if you want, you can measure and mark out where your holes are. Basically, you think about the thickness of this wood is a 1 by 1. It's really 3/4 of an inch. There's a difference between nominal and actual dimensions. So you're gonna be attaching these to the sides, and then you're going to be attaching the bottom piece to the bottom down here. So you want to make sure when you're putting your holes in the face that your hole is not going to be up too high, so it's going to miss your board. Or if it's too low, it might end up splitting the wood at the bottom. So just, if you want to get a tape measure, and so you have 3/4 of an inch, so divide that in half, that would be 3/8 of an inch. So you can mark that, and then you know exactly where, like how high up you need to put your hole. And then I would just say 2 holes in the bottom for 2 nails, and then 2 on each side, and do that with both of your end pieces. So basically, I'm just gonna hold this up so you can see better, but you're just gonna have your drill. You're probably not gonna be holding on to your piece of wood, but you're going to have your drill, and then you're going to drill nice and straight up and down all the way through. So you don't have to pre-drill your holes, but this helps you start your nails easier, and then also helps prevent the wood from splitting when you are driving your nails, so I'd recommend it. And then for these holes, they're here right now. You could drill them here if you want. Like, well, the wood's still flat, 'cause it's generally easier to drill your holes when the wood's sitting down flat. Or you can, when it's all put together, you can drill them in there later. I'm using these poles. So you could use, so I've got these poles that I'm using. You could just use a simple knob or even a piece of rope or string or whatever. You can do different options for your handles, but I have these poles. And then, so if you have something like this, it's always good to have a knife around. Okay. So you have to take a look at what your size of your fastener is, and then you have to match up your drill bit with that size. Maybe for these even a little bit bigger, so you can kind of do that, like, see if that's pretty close, a little small. See if I have a better one in here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you can kind of just hold up your bolt to your drill bit and see if that's gonna be the right size. And you can always start a little smaller, and then if this doesn't fit through the hole, you can pick a different, just the next size up a drill bit and drill the hole bigger, just so that it's not moving around too much, and then test it. So this is pretty good. It just slides in there. Pretty nice. So if you want to do that now, or you can do it later when it's all put together. But again, it's my preference to do it while you can drill onto a flat surface. And then also for spacing too, that's one other thing you want to think about is actually measure the distance between these where it screws into, and make sure that your distance is going to be correct on your piece of wood. And these holes on here are a little bit higher than I would have liked them, but we're just going to go with that for now because they're there. So I would say maybe even put the handles down here a little bit more. So maybe an inch or an inch and a half down from the top. Okay. I'm going to set those off to the side while I get ready to start my nails. So I grab my hammer and then my nails. Still getting used to videoing, so thanks for joining. So I'm just using these. These are actually 1.25" finish nails. You could use 1.5". You want to have, for a 3/4 inch thick wood, I'd say, 1.25" to 1.5" is probably good. It just kind of depends what you're doing. And we're gonna glue it too, so really the nails are just gonna be acting as clamps while the glue is drying. So again, it's easier to work on a flat surface than having it up in the air. So like I'm gonna put this off the side. It's good to have a nice clean work surface instead of trying to like work up here and get your nails all started and pound it together, especially if you don't have a helper. I prefer just to start mine flat. So I'm going to start all of my 6 holes, and if you can kind of look at your wood too and see if you like one side or the other to be your outside face. So if you're planning to just leave the wood bare, maybe put like a clear coating on it, like a stain or something, I would recommend try to find the nicer side and face that out. If you're going to paint it, probably doesn't matter as much. So I'm just going to get my nails going. So it's in. The nail's not poking through the other side yet, so it's there. It's not poking through, and it's able to stay up and not without falling out. So that's a good thing. Sometimes if you use a drill bit that's a little bit, like if I would use a slightly bigger drill bit to pre-drill these holes, then the nails sometimes just like slide in there, which is okay if it's not too big. Again, the glue is going to help it all stick together, so make sure you definitely use glue. Okay. So there'll be 1, Let me know if you're building with me, if I'm going too fast again, if you need me to slow down. Or maybe just like watching, I don't know. That's fun, just build along with Laura Saturdays. Okay, so I got one piece done. The more practice you have hammering, the faster that will go, so don't worry if that's taking you longer than I just did it. And then do the same thing on your other piece. Okay. Bam, so I got two pieces, ready to go. All my nails are in. So now, hello everybody. So great to have you. So now I am going to, before we go any farther, I forgot we have some nails to put in the bottom piece. Normally I just get excited to start putting the ends on, but this bottom piece also has some we're gonna have some holes for nails to attach the side pieces. So we're gonna want to start our nails in the bottom piece as well before we start attaching the end pieces. So we're gonna set aside these two pieces over here. This is a project we did a few years ago, so remembering all the details again. So you're gonna take your piece of wood and you're gonna have that 3/4 inch thickness to think about where your nails are gonna go and where you need to pre-drill your hole. So another trick you can do, if you don't mind having a pencil or a pen mark, generally I recommend pencil because you can sand it off and it doesn't get like sink into the wood as much. It doesn't get absorbed by the wood as much. So you can just run a pencil line down here, and then when you take it off, you just have this mark of the width of your wood. So that's a quick and easy way just to make sure that when you drill your holes, that they're going to be in the place where they need to be. So you're going to drill your holes, and let's see, I'd say probably 4 or 5 holes per side. Okay, so then you have your piece with your holes, and then you're going to, oh, I did not, that's why you want to do all sanding. See on this a little bit more. Got a little catch from I guess it could be good to do a little, check your sanding after you do your drilling to see all the little wood pieces that stick out. So, okay, so I'm going to start all my nails in the bottom. Then we'll be ready to put everything together. So I got all of my nails in here, ready to go. Now I am going to be putting this together. So I'm going to start, before I put my piece on the end, I'm going to get some glue. There it is. Just using some wood glue. If I can get it to come out, it's not clogged. Okay. This has been sitting outside, so it's maybe needs to warm up a little bit. Oh, glue. Okay, I might just go grab my other one really quick. Alright, I'm back. Got two more. Let's see if either of these work. There wasn't even any dried up in there, so I'm not sure what's going on. Alright, let's try this one. There we go. Alright, so you don't really need, that's probably even more glue than I really need to put on there, but you don't need a ton of glue. And especially if you're staining, you don't want to have any ooze out as much as possible, because that can discolor the stain a little bit. I'm not going to worry about this because I'm not going to be staining it. So then I'm probably going to not find a good place to be able to hammer. So if I try to do this here, I'm going to be like hammering way up here, and that's just awkward. So I'm just going to set this down. I'm kneeling on the floor right now, so I don't have, again, I'm in the RV, so we, there's not a lot of good work options in here, but it's not, the weather is not, it's raining and it's windy out there, so that's why I'm in here. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure you're lining up your, I'll show you. You want to make sure it's flush. So you want to make sure that your end piece is flush. So that just means it's on the same plane so that your bottom's not like sticking out or something like that. So again, that's that like 3/4 distance. So this is flush. Okay, and then hammer it. So this is a little tricky balancing game. Okay, so I got one in, and I'm just going to check to make sure that's okay. Get my other one in. Alright, so there you go. So you got that one end piece on. And then before I work on my other end piece, I'm going to, because the nails are poking out, it'd be kind of hard to balance that. So I'm going to put both my side pieces on. And so again, you're going to want to make sure you have some glue, take a look at your wood, see which side you want facing out, and then add glue on one of the ends. This is not the one that's open. Too many glues now. One works. All right. Ooh, that's a little bit much. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to put this end down. Okay. So I got some glue there. I'm going to set it here. Again, if you have a helper, it's going to... See, and I just wasn't paying attention, and then I got a little off, but that's okay. Alright. So then I'm going to get my end 2 nails attached in first. So careful finger placement, make sure you don't... Oh, that's a good grip, kind of a clamp. If you have clamps, you could use those as well, just to clamp your pieces so you don't keep your hands free from potentially getting hammered. And then the other one. Okay, cool. And then once you get those, I'm gonna pound on the other end. But did not want. It's just I don't have a hard work surface underneath, so it's good to have a hard work surface. There we go. I had a little bit of a, still have like a little bit of a gap, trying to fix the gaps in there, so definitely having a solid work surface helps to make sure these go together well, but I can correct all those things as we move along. Someday I'll have a workshop. That's the bottom floor of our house is going to be our makerspace, so I will have a much better setup once we get that far. Okay, looks pretty good. And a little bit more, there we go. So, okay. The wood can kind of move around as you're putting it together, so just make sure before you let it dry that everything's getting together. So I was able to fix that, these gaps in here. Okay, so from here I'm going to do the other side, get my glue on there, figure out what side I want to put out, put that side out. So just one end, I keep picking up the, I'm going to put these down. Put glue on the one end, and then the bottom. Okay. I'm going to start with attaching the end. So I'm just making sure everything's lined up before I hammer. You can also kind of get your nail started in there and then do a double check before you sink the nail all the way in. Okay. Oh, the kitty cat's gonna make an appearance. Here's Paisley. Oh, you're cute. Hi. Okay. Paisley's gonna be helping. Okay, so I got my end, and then I'm going to get my bottom attached. Got a little bit of a gap down there, so I might actually try to pat on the end to close that. There we go, that's better. Alright. I'm not a fine woodworker. I just get things close enough. check. That still looks okay. I might even smack that a little bit more just to... It's a nice thing with nails, you can kind of move things around still. Alright, I'm gonna get this other one in. Just double check that my ends are okay, cool. So now we have it almost together. So we've got one more end to do. So I'm going to add some glue. Oh, sorry, Paisy. Okay. Then add our other end piece. I'm lining it up. The glue really likes to make it move around a lot, so again, you can kind of see the glue oozing out. I got a little bit more than I needed on there. You can just wipe that off. You can wipe it off with a rag too. Okay. Good. Or a paper towel. Although those are kind of in high demand right now, so maybe an old t-shirt. I just wear work pants and I don't care if they get dirty, so just wipe it on there. Okay. Whew, this got a lot of glue coming out. Alright. You gonna help? You gonna be a helper? She was sleeping on my lap all morning, so she probably wants me to be her lap again. Okay. Alright. And there you go. So, yeah, if you want, you can just grab a damp paper towel or a rag. So one nice thing about living in an RV, there's always, everything's really close to each other. It's gonna be like the opposite of our house. We've got 3 floors. Let's wipe off that extra glue. Could probably try to hammer that down a little bit. So one other trick too, there might be like a little bit of a gap here, which I'm not too worried about for this project, but you could try to knock it down, tighten that up a little bit, and if you're worried about marking up your wood, you can get a piece of scrap wood and put that on top first and then hammer that, so you don't end up with a bunch of marks on your wood from your hammer. But I think it's just the way the wood is. I think the bottom piece is a little bit bowed, so there's going to be kind of a little bit of a gap there, but that's fine. Okay, so last step is we're going to do the handles. If you haven't pre-drilled your holes in the ends for your poles, or if you just want to put a rope or something in there, you can. Then it doesn't really matter what the spacing is. You can just put it wherever your holes are. Again, if I did this again, I probably would put these down a little bit more, but okay, I'm gonna find my other one. I'll actually use these other ones. That's some other. Oh, I forgot to grab a screwdriver. So you're gonna stick your bolts in there and just get one started on each side. I'm gonna actually use different ones. I don't like these, are a little bit too big. Let's see. Let's try these ones. Anyway, I like that better. Okay, let's use that. That looks better. And the other one. Okay. And if you're gonna paint or stain this, I would do that before you put these on. This is kind of the last step. But I'm not gonna finish mine today because I don't really have a good place to have it dry. And okay, so for that, then I would recommend using a screwdriver instead of a drill, but I did not bring one in here. So unprepared. Okay, I'm just gonna use one of my bits. So probably put this on then a pretty low setting so you don't strip out your screws. And then just lightly press the trigger if you're going to use a drill. Okay. Okay, that's it. Alright. All done. So again, if you want, you could add some wood dividers in here or just use mason jars and put whatever you want. Pens, pencils, crayons, markers, paint brushes, paints, anything like that. Hold up so you can see. And then, yeah, that's it. So, there's one that's done again. And again, next week we're going to do this chalkboard hanger. So, if you want, you can kind of customize it as you want, the size. I'll be posting dimensions for the wood that you'll need. And then if you don't want to have hangers down here, you don't have to. So that's an option. Or you could also like add another piece of wood at the bottom to have like a little shelf or something like that. And then I just used a simple sawtooth hanger up here, but if you want to use like the picture hangers that have the D-rings and then the wire in the middle, you could use that too. So I will post all that info soon, maybe even today, since I'm not sure. I might go outside for a little bit and try to do some brush cleanup now, but We're trying to get our rafters on our house, but it's a little too windy out there to do that. So, okay. Thanks for joining me. And I will hopefully see you next week. If you have any projects, let me know. We kind of already planned out through June, so hopefully we'll be back in person in July doing these. But until then, I'll be here. Okay. Bye.